Hello everyone, today we'll be talking about framing and composition as well as camera angle. And now let's start off with long shot. A long shot is a full shot that has a great depth of field and in which the audience can see deep into the background. This is called perspective. As you can see in this shot, that the stair extends and meets at a point on the top left third of the frame, and the horizon is resting on the top third with the girl on the right third. Next, wide shot, in which all subjects are included in the frame to establish the surrounding of the scene and to give the audience a basic understanding of what is going on. Here, this wide shot is also a perfect example to show you the root of third. As you can see, the girl is standing on the exact right third of the frame, and the headroom and footroom are relatively the same. The statue is resting on the bottom left third of the frame, which balances out the whole shot. Remember, when you do a wide shot, you want to take into consideration of the background and how the subject is interacting with it. If the background does not really relate to what the subject is doing, then there's no need to make the subject really small in the frame. But from now on, just always remember to check your shot with the root of third and make sure to leave your subject with enough headspace. Medium wide shot, also known as the American shot, because back in the days when cowboys were still running around in the West, filmmakers want to show their guns on the hip, so they decided to crop the subjects between their knees and their hips. In this shot, the girl is on the right side of the frame, and the mural and the tree in the background give the image more dynamic and makes it more interesting to be looked at. Medium shot. You can think of medium shot as a shot that puts only half of your body in the frame, which in most cases means that everything above your hip. Again, like we said earlier, you need to follow the root of third when you shoot in order to give the audience a more aesthetic viewing experience. In this shot, the girl is sitting on the right third of the frame, and she's not facing directly at the camera. Instead, she's facing slightly away from it. And also notice the pink flowers in the background is resting perfectly on the left side of the frame, and also helps to make the dead space into negative space, gives the image a bit of difference. Medium close-up, as implied by the name, means that it frames everything above your chest. In this shot, the girl is on the left third of the frame, and pay attention to where her eyes are. They're on the top third of the frame, and she still has a little bit of headspace. Remember, when you're doing a medium close-up, you still need to have appropriate headspace for your subject. And you see how the girl is looking toward the right in this shot, and how there's a lot of space between her nose and the right edge of the frame? That is called the nose space. When your subject is looking in a certain direction, and you want to leave enough space in front of him or her, so the audience are able to follow the subject's eye track and connect better with whatever is happening on the screen. Notice also the tree on the right and the rail on the bottom creates diagonal lines in the frame, which gives the image more dynamic. Next up is close-up. Remember earlier I told you not to crop the head of the subject and leave him or her with enough headspace? Well, now in close-up shot, it is time to start cropping the head. You might not be able to see this so clearly since our girl is wearing sunglasses. But just like earlier in the medium close-up, the eyes of the subject is on the top third of the frame, which is a good thing for you to remember to make sure that you're following the root of third, even when you feel like all you have in the frame is the head of the subject. Also notice that in the background, there's the pole on the right side of the frame, which balances out the image and functions well as filling in the dead space in the back. And now that we're talking about the background, pay attention to how the background is kind of blurry and fuzzy, and only the subject in the front is clear. That is called a shallow depth of field. A shallow depth of field means that you're only focusing on what is happening in the foreground, which gives the audience clear direction that the thing which is in focus is most important, and their eyes will automatically be drawn to that. With extreme close-up, we're not only cropping the head, but we start to crop the face as well. Same rule that applied to all previous shots also apply here. So pay attention to how her eyes are still on the top third of the frame, as well as how fuzzy and blurry the background is. Because now we're getting so close to her face, the background does not matter so much anymore, and it makes sense to have a very shallow depth of field for the audience to better focus on the subject in the front. Now let's move on to camera angle. First up is eye level. As you might have already guessed, An eye level shot means that the camera is at the same level as the eye of the subject, which creates an effect that the audience is directly communicating with the subject in the film, thus helps the audience to better connect with the subject and follow along with the story. Low angle. Low angle shot simply means that the camera is shooting at a lower level relative to the eye level of the subject. In films, people usually use a low angle to establish the power of the subject, as if he or she is overpowering the audience and the other characters whom he or she is confronting. A high angle shot, reverse of the low angle, means that the camera is shooting from above the head of the subjects. In films, this technique is usually used to put the subject in an inferior or powerless position, or to reveal the nervous and anxious state of mind, or it can be used to simply reveal more surrounding in the scene from above. A bird's eye view is simply an extreme high angle, and as you can see in the shot that the camera is almost directly above the subject's head. A bird's eye view serves the same purpose as a high angle shot, presents the subject in an inferior manner, and typically is used to reveal fear and anxiety in films. This will conclude our tutorial for today that covers composition and framing as well as camera angle. I hope you guys all learned a lot about it, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.